Today I'm doing a quick test between the new Aputure ADC and the 300X. And the reason is because when the ADC first came out, I looked at the photometrics on Aputure's website and I noticed that they were very similar to the 300X in terms of output. The 300X is something that I use a lot in studio. Small interviews where I'm not competing with window light, tabletop stuff, and even some narrative situations. Primarily using it with the Fresnel and Spotlight units. So my thought is, down the line I'm gonna wanna pick up a few more of these units. So can the ADC eventually supplement or replace the 300X, especially if I'm primarily using it for the hard light. For the test today, I'm gonna put the lights on stands approximately 6 and 9 feet away in full spot and full flood, and we'll take readings with the light meter and see where we're at. All right, so we've changed the lighting setup here. Turn off all the other lights so there's no other spill, and then we have the Aputure ADC on a stand 6 feet away from me. What I'm gonna do is take a reading with the Sekonic light meter and then change some settings with the Sidus link. So taking a reading here at 5600 Kelvin, we have 11 7/10. Now let's, just out of curiosity, let's change it to 3200 and we'll take another reading and we have 11 4/10. Approximately a third of a stop less when you go from 5600 to 3200 Kelvin. And this is in full flood, so we're gonna change it to full spot and I'll be right back. All right, I've adjusted the ADC to full spot here, and just pardon the exposure. I'm using an Osmo to record this, and so I'm not sure if it's gonna be totally blown out in post, but it's looking pretty bright with full spot. So let's change to 5600. Let's take a reading, and we have 45 5/10. And we'll switch to 3200 Kelvin, and we have 32 4/10. So a little bit of a drop off there when it comes to 5600 versus 3200. Let's switch to the 300X. All right, so now we have the 300X on the stand, 5600 Kelvin, 100%, approximately 6 feet away. So I'm gonna take another reading here, and we have 16 8/10. So let's change to 3200, and we have 16 3/10. Now let's change it over to full spot, and we'll see what we get. So we have the 300X full spot 6 feet away, 5600 Kelvin, 100%. Quick reading here. And we have 32 4/10. That's really interesting because the full spot on the ADC at the same distance away was brighter by almost maybe 2/3 to 1 full stop. That's really interesting. I'm not sure if something's going on there, but that's the reading that I'm getting. So, we'll test it at 3200 as well. Bit of a drop off there as expected. 22 7/10. Really interesting. I'm gonna go check on that, but we're gonna move it to 9 feet away. All right, we're back to our normal lighting setup. I'm gonna post numbers on the screen here in case you wanna pause and check out my findings. But overall, my biggest takeaway from this quick test is that the ADC performs very closely to the 300X. Add on the RGB functionality, the green magenta shift, the fact that it's about half the size, and you don't have to carry around a larger ballast with the system. For me, it just makes it a no-brainer moving forward if I want to get any additional units that are similar to the 300X. Now, the one thing I am interested in seeing in the near future is the upcoming spotlight mount that they're developing for the ADC. Currently, I use the regular spotlight mount with the 300X quite a bit on a lot of my shoots, and the setup is about this big. So it's a little bit long, it's a little bit unwieldy. It's 2 cases that I have to carry in addition to all the other gear. So if they're able to make it out a fraction of the size, and just make it easier to kind of carry around and adjust, I think that's going to be great for the smaller shoots where you don't necessarily have a lot of hands to help you out. So really interested in that, especially if the output's going to be very similar. Now the one thing I'm not 100% sure about is why the spot on the i300X was not as bright as the ADC. And the only thing I can think of is that maybe the center of the spot where I took the reading was not the same place as the ADC. However, I was moving the light meter around just to make sure of that. It just kept reading the same measurement the entire time. So I'm not 100% sure if it was that. If anyone has any thoughts or comments on that, post them below, because I'd be curious to see what the differences were in that. All right, so to recap, the ADC is very close to 300X. I'm really looking forward to using it more on set, as well as adding some to my kit since this is a rental. Anyway, if you have any other questions, post them below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. All right, guys, peace.